Albert Einstein once said that anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. In Abuja on the 4th of July 2012, this was said. Those involved in subsidy scam amounting to about 2.6 trillion naira must never go unpunished. It was also stated that the government would never accept corruption. After a string of investigations, audits and committees were set up, until date not a single person has been tried before a court of law, even though clear evidence is available. In other cases, corrupt officials have even been pardoned. In fact, this is what an English newspaper has to say about corruption in our country.
Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
Hello everyone, this is Core TV Primetime News with Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major story, INEC security agencies reaffirm readiness for February polls at Council of State meeting. Also in this program, Department of State Service vows to deal with individuals and groups indulging in inflammatory statements ahead of the general elections. Forensic audit conducted into operations of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation indicts its management of questionable transactions. Outside Nigeria, recently released Al Jazeera's foreign correspondent Peter Grest says he will not give up on career as a journalist after reunion with family. We'll begin tonight in Abuja, where after more than 7 hours of deliberations, the National Council of State has decided that only the Independent National Electoral Commission can decide the fate of the election. This was after INEC had reaffirmed its readiness at the meeting, which had Muhammadu Buhari and virtually all the governors of the All Progressives Congress in attendance. Speaking after the meeting, Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha told State House correspondents that INEC was emphatic on elections holding this month. His Ondo State counterpart, Olusegun Mimiko, also gave us thoughts on the outcome of the meeting.
Reports coming from INEC indicates that INEC has said they are very, very ready to conduct the election. And the security agencies have shown concern about certain local governments where they have security challenges. But INEC has the powers to conduct election, including fixing date for elections. And so Council rules that INEC should then inform the nation as to their preparedness and proceed to conduct election.
The Council of State is essentially an advisory body. We have to advise Mr. President. Mr. President, in his wisdom, has invited INEC to brief us on state of preparedness based on what INEC briefed us and based on perception of council member and security agencies. INEC was appropriately advised, and you hear from INEC.
Hours before the decision at the Council of State meeting, a coalition of 10 political parties insisted there is no basis for shifting the forthcoming elections from the original dates. The parties, which converged on Abuja under the banner of Coalition of Progressive Political Parties, also want the international community to put pressure on the Nigerian authorities to comply with the electoral timetable. The party leaders argued that the move could trigger crisis and plunge the country into anarchy at a time the country is faced with a security challenge. A communique endorsed by all the 10 parties was presented at a news conference after the meeting.
Is therefore a call orchestrated by one of the political parties which has continued to invest huge sums of money to ensure the elections do not hold as scheduled, out of fear of losing power for the first time since 1999. Our democracy has come of age, and Nigerians are ready for change. We will not allow desperation and power-mongering to scuttle it, and will do whatever is necessary to defend it and ensure that the general election holds as scheduled. We call on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, not to be intimidated or by desperate elements, and to proceed with its preparations for the general election as scheduled. We assure INEC we shall stand by it shoulder to shoulder to ensure our democracy is not undermined.
There was also a protest march in the Abuja city center by a group of Nigerians opposed to plans to postpone the February elections. The march, which began at the Unity Fountain, however, ended around Eagle Square after security personnel refused the protesters access to the road leading to the presidential villa. The protesters, who had placards of various inscriptions, insisted that the elections have to hold as scheduled.
Has been convened today to discuss the possibility of postponing the election. And on behalf of the 170 million Nigerians, we have mobilized various groups in Abuja to come and demonstrate and register the pulse of Nigeria that the election should proceed. More so that the chairman of INEC had kept insisting that he is prepared to conduct the election. So we wonder why people who have no business in the election are sitting to suggest the postponement of the election. We are determined and committed to the unity of this country and will not allow anybody to take any step that will jeopardize our national security. This is why we're here.
From the controversy surrounding the date of the general elections now, the Department of State Service is determined to deal with individuals and groups who indulge in inflammatory statements in the build-up to the general elections. This is a reaction to recent war threats and inciting comments recently made by some ex-Niger Delta militant leaders. DSS spokesperson Marilyn Orga explained on the sidelines of a security briefing in Abuja that the agency had invited some of the ex-militants for questioning before and would not hesitate to act against any of them.
That Asari Dokubo has been brought into the office a couple of times, but is not in the position of the office to begin to tell you who has been brought in or who has not been brought in. And we still stand on our words that whoever in any way would want to interfere or interrupt the peace that prevails, he or she will definitely go in for it.
The federal government has warned of a plot by Boko Haram to disguise female suicide bombers as eligible voters on election day. Government officials say the plan involves stealing of permanent voter cards of female voters, which would then be used by the bombers to gain access to polling centers in some parts of the country. Coordinator of the National Information Center, Michael Mary, disclosed this at a security briefing in Abuja. He advised Nigerians, especially female voters, to remain vigilant and ensure that the PVCs do not fall into wrong hands.
Intelligence indicates that some unscrupulous Nigerians have perfected plans to surreptitiously collect, buy, or steal the permanent voters' cards of female voters, hand over same to female suicide bombers, and create access for them into polling centers where they will detonate bombs and kill unsuspecting voters. By this information, therefore, Nigerians, especially female voters, are warned to remain vigilant and also jealously guard and preserve their PVCs to avoid the possibility of their being lost or used by these bad elements who would put them to untoward uses.
Meanwhile, the federal government has launched 3 national security documents which it believes will pave way for a more effective war against terrorism and cybercrimes. The documents are the National Security Strategy, Counterterrorism Strategy, and Cybersecurity Plan and Strategy. Speaking at the launch in Abuja, President Goodluck Jonathan advised all security agencies to adopt the principles enshrined in the documents. He also solicited the cooperation of all Nigerians for the successful implementation of the new security initiatives.
That must be underpinned by concrete and proactive actions and measures. I therefore implore all security agencies to adopt and adapt the vision and principles contained in the documents. I also recommend the publication to civil society organizations, relevant stakeholders, and Nigerians in general. These documents will no doubt contribute immensely to our collective efforts at finding solutions to the security challenges which pose a threat to our progress and development efforts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to formally launch the National Security Strategy, the National Counter-Terrorism Strategy, and the Cyber Security Plan and Strategy.
President Goodluck Jonathan. While forensic audit exposes deep-rooted corruption in NNPC, find out more after this timeout. Don't go away.
Albert Einstein once said that anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. In Abuja on the 4th of July 2012, this was said. Those involved in subsidy scam amounting to about 2.6 trillion naira must never go unpunished. It was also stated that the government would never accept corruption. After a string of investigations, audits and committees were set up. Until date, not a single person has been tried before a court of law, even though clear evidence is available. In other cases, corrupt officials have even been pardoned. In fact, this is what an English newspaper has to say about corruption in our country.
Your account is too low for this call.
Never get stranded with MTN Extra Time. You can now borrow airtime and pay back at your next recharge. Dial *606# now to enjoy the new MTN Extra Time.
MTN, everywhere you go.
The gubernatorial election is here again. The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, Lagos State Chapter presents Lagos Decides 2015. This is a platform designed to give equal opportunity to all the candidates vying for the post of governor in Lagos State. All candidates are hereby invited to present their respective manifestos to its select audience comprising of PR practitioners, media, and other prominent professionals. Lagos Decides 2015 comes up on Wednesday, 11 February 2015. Time, 11 a.m. Venue, LCCI Event Center, CBD, Alausa Ikeja. Admission is strictly by invitation. For sponsorship details and advert placement, call Joe on 0802 3924 913 or Jola on 0802 366 3429. Proudly supported by MITV, Star FM, 101.5, Galaxy Television, Core TV, Cool TV, Wazobia TV, Nigeria Info, and Frontiers Consulting. The debate will be broadcast and streamed live. NIPR, deepening democratic values.
Thanks for joining us again. You're on to Core TV Primetime News. Here's a quick reminder of some of our major headlines. INEC security agencies reaffirm readiness for February polls at Council of State meeting. Department of State Service vows to deal with individuals and groups indulging in inflammatory statements ahead the general elections. And forensic audit conducted into operations of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation indicts its management on questionable transactions. You can also get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoolTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoolTV News NG, and we're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoolTV, with a space at news. The Lagos State government on Thursday declared Friday a work-free day for its workers, just as the state governor Babatunde Fashola enjoined private sector employers to release their workers early to enable those who are yet to collect their permanent voter cards to do so in their various polling units. The head of service, Oluseyi Williams, who gave the directive in a statement, said the state government was desirous of ensuring that all public servants in the state participate in the voting process, adding that they should take the opportunity to go out and collect their cards at their polling units. Fashola said the desired prosperity and the brighter rewarding future being sought after by the people, both for themselves and for their children, would be determined by their willingness or otherwise to sacrifice time to key into the election process by collecting their permanent voter cards for the election. Meanwhile, the Ogun State INEC has introduced the smart card reader in every polling unit to verify and authenticate the genuineness of voter cards ahead the February polls. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner made this known at a stakeholders meeting in Abeokuta. Olajumoke Olatunji has more.
In attendance at a stakeholders forum held at the June 12 Cultural Center was Governor Ibikunle Amosu, local government chairmen, party chieftains, security personnel, and students among others. The Ogun Resident Electoral Commissioner emphasizes that the general elections will hold according to the timetable and urge residents to come out and get their permanent voters card irrespective of the challenges.
Purpose of emphasis, INEC will conduct the presidential and National Assembly election on 14th February 2015, while that of the governorship state assembly election comes up on 28th February 2015.
With just 10 days to the election, the introduction of the smart card reader, according to him, is to verify and authenticate the genuineness of a voter and the PVC in order to avoid impersonation.
The election will take place in all the 3,210 polling units, 1,131 voting points, 236 wards registration areas across the 20 local governments of Ogun State. This is barely 9 days from today.
Amosu disagreed with the position of the Resident Electoral Commissioner concerning the low turnout of residents for the collection of the PVC and challenged INEC to ensure a smooth electioneering process.
He mentioned that the challenge is that people are not coming out to collect their cards. I want to disagree with that because this is being, we should say this for posterity. Our people in Ogun State, they have been going around every day on a daily basis. And the challenge is that these cards, the cards that are there are truly not theirs. Because they go there, they check the cards, with their names will not be imposed. Their cards will not be imposed as we are seeing.
This resident also spoke on the development.
No matter how tenable the reason is for INEC to postpone election, there are some segment of people out there that will not agree that it is right for INEC to postpone election. And because we don't want Nigeria to go into ruins, because we still want to have this nation called Nigeria, I am appealing that whatever INEC needs to do to make sure that the election comes on February 14th, they should do. Because another thing is, INEC postponing election will even bring up some other issues.
They feel because of the few inadequacies we have experienced in the issue of production and distribution of PVC. Therefore, that suffices for INEC to postpone them. So now, as I'm talking to you now, is that if it gets to a stage that INEC will have to distribute the PVC on the election day, it will be done.
Expectations are very high on the parts of all stakeholders as the clock gradually ticks to election date.
Ekiti State, the Independent National Electoral Commission has stepped up efforts on voter sensitization. The latest development includes the display of the usage of the electronic card reader for people with disabilities and other critical stakeholders ahead of the forthcoming polls. Rashid filed in this report from Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti State capital.
The Independent National Electoral Commission in the state, now under a new resident electoral commissioner, has engaged in voter education on the workings of the electronic card reader.
It's one of our statutory duties, and it is germane to quality electoral process service delivery on the part of any election management body, as well as the political class, at least to reduce the number of white votes, voting apathy, and to curb electoral malpractices.
The sensitization program, which had in attendance critical stakeholders, including people living with disabilities, is, in the words of the Commission, timely and will aid smooth electoral process.
Yes, I really think about it that this machine will help us to really cast our votes fast than before. INEC here, they are performing. We didn't have any, I don't think we have any doubt in our mind that what they are going to do concerning the election, that the vote will not count through them. It's only with the electorate. We have to gear up and do what we are expected to do.
The stakeholders described the display as a welcome and fruitful exercise ahead of the coming polls. Rashid, Core TV News, Ado-Ekiti.
The Lagos PDP governorship campaign train hit Ajeromi Felodu area of the state on Thursday. The campaign took a new twist as the people received 4 liters of kerosene as gift. Oluwaseyi Adegoke completes the story.
This obviously is not a kerosene selling point. It is the new style adopted by the Lagos PDP to reach the people in the party's bid to attract support for its governorship candidate, Jimmy Agbaje. The Lagos PDP chairman, Tunji Shele, says it is clear that the party will win the governorship election in the state.
We started the journey in Agege. We captured that local government. We went to Alimosho. We captured it. We went to Ifako-Ijaye. We recovered it. We went to Ojo local government. Our people are plentiful. We went to Ekpe. We couldn't count the crowd. We went to Apapa, we discovered it and we recovered it. Yes, we were in Surulere yesterday. It was a big outing. The other day too, we did a road show. Go and look at it. Go and see what we had. Lagos is already one.
Man of the moment, Agbaje, while addressing the crowd, promised the community a real change that has not been experienced in the last 16 years under the present APC administration.
We are telling you today that our own government, by God's grace, come May 29th, is going to give water to the people of Ajeromi. Yes, sir. That the children of Ajeromi are going to have school. Yes, sir. Not the school that they will sit on floor. Not the school where roof they leak. We are saying that they will have good school. Yes, sir. They will have teacher. Yes. I am not just talking. Free lunch. I mean it. Education, a child that is not educated is a problem to society. A child must be properly educated.
The party urged the people to collect their PVCs, which will give them the opportunity to vote for Agbaje and other PDP candidates in the coming governorship and other elections. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, Court TV News, Lagos.
And as the governorship election draws near, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos, Akinwumi Ambode, says he is going to consolidate on the achievements of his predecessors and make the state for all. He made this known as the campaign train of his party visits Yaba on the Lagos mainland. Kazim Kasale's report is presented from our studios.
With people dancing and making merry, Ambode's arrival threw the crowd into a higher level of excitement. Time to talk. The Lagos APC governorship candidate says his mission is to consolidate on the achievements of his predecessors.
I am one of you. I grew up here and I'm going to stay by you. We want Lagos to work. Lagos has been working in the last 16 years, commencing from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 1999. And Governor Raji Fashola took over in 2007 to actualize the growth and development of Lagos State. All I want to do is to consolidate on the achievements of these two governors.
He added that he aims to build a Lagos for all without discrimination. He also promised to create an employment trust fund that would decisively address the issue of youth empowerment.
We will make Lagos work for everyone. Our women, our mothers, our fathers and children, they will be part of this prosperous Lagos we are all talking about. I want to assure you that everything possible will be done by our government to make life more comfortable for everyone that is in Lagos. We will not discriminate against any citizen. And you know, all the Nigerian youths that reside in Lagos, be rest assured that you have a prosperous Lagos ahead of you.
The party's flags were also handed over to candidates of the APC contesting other positions.
In order to chart a new course for the development of Kwara, the state chapters of Trade Union Congress and the Nigeria Labour Congress have organized a debate for governorship candidates ahead of the February 28 poll. Candidates present at the debate lay out their plans for the people of Kwara. Rashid was there and filed in this report.
The race to the Kwara government house is no doubt an interesting one, with 13 candidates altogether jostling for the seat come February 28. To this end, the Trade Union Congress and the Nigeria Labour Congress provided a platform for the candidates to reach out to the Kwara workforce in particular and the state in general on their plans for the people.
To make the civil servants happy, it's a right by the law guiding the relationship between the civil servants and the government, that their salaries should be paid as at when given. 2, all their entitlement. After having worked, we all pray that we should earn the benefit of our sweat. It is the basic right that your leave bonus, your end of the year bonus, that is a payment of 30 months to make 1 year. All this will be looked into and shall be given to
Though the incumbent and the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, was absent, this did not take the shine out of the debate as one of the women candidates spelled out her plans for the people.
Elsewhere in other states, so it will not be done in Kwara State. If I'm opportune to be the governor of this state, there will be no retrenchment before we address the issue of the salary, because we just have to improve on the salary, and God will help us.
The organizers also state reason for the debate.
Let me feel that for us to have a candidate whom we feel is capable of aspiring the progress of Kwara as a whole to a further dimension, the integrity of the state itself is at stake, and we know that we needed to organize this debate that will showcase the talent, the aspirations, and the needfuls of the specific candidates who are vying for the governorship position in the state. So we'll be able to pick when the due date comes with our PVCs.
So we have invited people to come and listen to them so that people will be well informed about the situation on ground, what they have to offer.
The debate obviously was an eye-opener for the people of Kwara State as the governorship election draws near. Rashid, Core TV News, Ilorin.
The forensic audit conducted into the operations of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has indicted the management of the corporation on a number of questionable transactions. The audit was ordered by President Goodluck Jonathan in the aftermath of claims that oil revenue running into $20 billion was missing. Highlights of the audit report released on Thursday by the Auditor General of the Federation, Okura Samuel, showed that NNPC cannot account for $1.48 billion. PricewaterhouseCoopers recommended that NNPC should refund the amount and also wants the government to restructure the corporation's operation.
The crude oil liftings was 50.81 billion and not 47 billion as earlier stated by the Senate Reconciliation Committee for the period from January 2012 to July 2013. Based on the information available to PwC and from the analysis above, the firm, that is PwC, submitted that NNPC and NPDC should refund to the federal government a minimum of 1.48 billion. The corporation operates an unsustainable model. 46% of proceeds of domestic crude oil revenues for the period was spent on operations and subsidies. The corporation is unable to sustain monthly remittances to the Federation Account Committee, that's fact, and also meets its operation costs entirely from proceeds of domestic crude oil revenue, and have to incur third-party liabilities to bring the funding gap. NNPC model of operation must be urgently reviewed and restructured, as the current model, which has been in operation since the creation of the corporation, cannot be sustained.
We'll take another break now and return with business, sports, and other stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Albert Einstein once said that anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. In Abuja on the 4th of July 2012, this was said. Those involved in subsidy scam amounting to about 2.6 trillion naira must never go unpunished. It was also stated that the government would never accept corruption. After a string of investigations, audits and committees were set up. Until date, not a single person has been tried before a court of law, even though clear evidence is available. In other cases, corrupt officials have even been pardoned. In fact, this is what an English newspaper has to say about corruption in our country.
Which person can you carry?
And we now for MTN
Cash Quest. You see the look? Plenty people don't they win 10 million naira every week and 1 million naira every day. To win, just dial *170# for free and correct awoof go dey wait you. Whether that TV or generator or phone, you fit win all for free every day.
MTN, everywhere you go.
On business tonight, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has said the nation's economy is being affected by the recent increase in attacks on crude oil pipelines. This is contained in a statement in Abuja by the Group General Manager, Public Affairs Division, NNPC, Ohi Alegbe, who also condemns the act. According to Alegbe, the nation lost 60,000 barrels of crude oil per day to acts of vandalism around the Facados pipeline and the Escravos Lagos pipeline in the last 6 weeks between January and early February 2015. It has been vandalized 4 times. Most of the pipelines, including those in Calabar, Alauji, Omoko, and Olorunshogo, has been connected to gas. Nigeria has lost 534.3 million naira per day to oil theft. The corporation is finding options on how to tackle the menace of pipeline vandalism. The options ranges from an aggressive community engagement to installation of technological gadgets. Aviation stakeholders have been called for partnership in the provision of optimum service delivery at the various airports for all users. Paper presentation improving passenger experience through optimizing the use of automated check-in and baggage drop-off facilities. Acting Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NACO Avians, Nabat Belderman, says automation will lead to value, speed, convenience, and control for the passengers, while the airlines will reduce cost and bottlenecks. He added airports through the automation will achieve a better space management and increased processing capacity, amongst others. He therefore called on the authorities to partner with the Nigerian Aviation Handling Company in the provision of some of their services, either through outsourcing or concessioning. Time now to join Sabrina Izoko for today's stock market report.
Core TV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabena Izuku. The equities market on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed on a negative note today as the Nigerian All-Shares Index depreciated to 1.36% to close at 30,200.97 basis points. The market capitalization decreased to close at 10 trillion naira. A total volume of 477 million units of shares, valued at 3.96 billion naira, were exchanged in 4,470 deals. On the gainers side, United Africa Company of Nigeria topped the gainers chart to close at 14 naira with a gain of 1 naira 15 kobo, followed by International Breweries, United Africa Company of Nigerian Property, Champion, and Guinness. On the flip side, Nigerian Breweries topped the chart, trailed by Dangote Cement, Flour Mill, GlaxoSmithKline, and Presco. Meanwhile, Access Bank topped the traders chart, followed by First Bank Nigerian Holdings, Eco Transnational Incorporation, Transcorp, and First City Merchant Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
Core TV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
And now to some sports stories. The Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) Appeals Committee has ratified Kwara United promotion to the Glo Premier League. The Appeals Committee upheld an earlier ruling of its disciplinary and organizing committee on the hotly contested promotion ticket between the Afonja Warriors and Ranchers Bees. The Ilorin-based side has now officially joined the trial Wiki Tourist, 3SE and Gambros Football Club to the Nigerian top flight for the upcoming 2014-2015 season. QuarTV News gathered that the decision was taken at the end of the committee's meeting in Abuja on Wednesday. And General Secretary of the Nigeria Football Federation, Musa Amadu, has confirmed that the Super Eagles will play 2 friendly matches in the month of March, but has refused to disclose the oppositions. The Super Eagles have been idle after failing to make the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations, but a predominantly home-based squad faced Cote d'Ivoire and Yemen in 2 international friendlies in the United Arab Emirates in January. And with the qualifiers for the 2017 AFCON set to begin in June, Amadu says they have reached an advanced state of negotiation with 2 countries. The process for qualifying to the next edition of the Africa Cup of Nations starts in June, but there still seems to be so much uncertainty going on with the leadership of the Nigerian football. Stories from outside Nigeria next after this break. Stay with us.
Albert Einstein once said that anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. In Abuja on the 4th of July 2012, this was said. Those involved in subsidy scam amounting to about 2.6 trillion naira must never go unpunished. It was also stated that the government would never accept corruption. After a string of investigations, audits and committees were set up, until date not a single person has been tried before a court of law, even though clear evidence is available. In other cases, corrupt officials have even been pardoned. In fact, this is what an English newspaper has to say about corruption in our country.
Welcome back. Outside Nigeria now, and after an emotional homecoming in Australia, Al Jazeera's foreign correspondent Peter Grest says he will not give up on his career as a journalist. Speaking on Thursday after a private reunion with his family, he revealed that he was treated with respect during his 400-day prison ordeal in Egypt. He said it was ecstatic to be back after being deported on Sunday from Cairo, where he was held for allegedly aiding the blacklisted Muslim Brotherhood. Gretz said his time in jail had been tough physically and mentally, but that he and fellow Al Jazeera television colleagues, Canadian Egyptian Mohamed Fahmy and Baha Mohammed of Egypt, had been treated well. Prime Minister Tony Abbott hailed Egyptian leader Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as a friend of decency.
Whether I actually do go ahead with it, I don't know. That's the way I feel right now. We certainly weren't abused. We had some, we had access to all of the things that we needed. It was restrictive. I mean, there were things that we weren't comfortable with, but then it's prison. The fact is I'm in pretty good health. There's no problems that I have in any sense that I'm aware of anyway. We weren't abused in any way. We were we're treated with respect and dignity. I'm grateful to be out. I trust that they will follow in due course. It's going to take time. It's going to take some further efforts, but we'll see them out. And when we do, I'm going to party with them very, very hard indeed.
And QuarTV Primetime News tonight, a recap of our major stars. INEC security agencies have reaffirmed readiness for February polls at Council of State meeting. We also reported the Department of State Service has vowed to deal with individuals and groups indulging in inflammatory statements ahead of the general elections. forensic audit conducted into operations of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has indicted its management on questionable transactions. And that wraps it tonight on Core TV Primetime News. On behalf of the production crew, I am Ifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.
Albert Einstein once said that anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. In Abuja on the 4th of July 2012, this was said. Those involved in subsidy scam amounting to about 2.6 trillion naira must never go unpunished. It was also stated that the government would never accept corruption. After a string of investigations, audits and committees were set up, until date not a single person has been tried before a court of law, even though clear evidence is available. In other cases, corrupt officials have even been pardoned. In fact, this is what an English newspaper has to say about corruption in our country.